what we're willing to accept in order to get back in the JCPOA. We're waiting for the response. When that will come, I'm not certain, but we are not going to wait forever.
The only thing that will stop Iran is knowing that if they continue to develop their nuclear program, the free world will use force.
So let's speak about this some more with Hatem Bazian. He's a professor of Middle Eastern languages and cultures at UC Berkeley, joining us from Istanbul. Hatem, always good to speak to you on the News Hour. You know, both Biden and Lapid have spoken about wanting peace in the Middle East. Biden says diplomacy is the only way forward, but then both of them also speak about using force against Iran if Tehran doesn't comply. What do you make of those statements? Are we getting mixed messages here?
I do think there is a division between the United States and Israel on the question of Iran. It is very clear to us that Israel, all the way back from the period of Sharon, followed by the whole period of Netanyahu, it has been a belligerent, bellicose type of attitude toward Iran. So much so that the Israeli wanted the United States to actually strike Iran during the Trump administration. Whether the Biden administration will be able to resist the Israeli pressure for a militarized attack on Iran, that is still yet to be seen. We have to know that President Biden is very weakened in the United States. The economy is not doing well. We have a high rate of inflation, just this past week, 9.1% inflation rate. And Biden is going into the midterm election. So Israel actually is in a much more stronger position vis-a-vis the United States in relations to the Iran file. And its relations with the region, with the Arab world, whether it's United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and others, puts it in a much more forceful position to push its way toward a much more militarized and maybe more aggressive posture toward Iran.
Okay, well, let's just move on to something else that Biden will look at during this visit. He is taking a trip to Saudi Arabia, a massive talking point, of course. He's the first U.S. president ever to fly from Israel to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. And it comes at a time, like you mentioned, the U.S. is facing an economic a crisis. We've got rising fuel prices across the world, inflation going up. When Biden goes to Saudi Arabia, is there perhaps a view that MBS possibly has the upper hand when these two meet?
I do think that that MBS and Saudi Arabia have played their card in a much better way with the United States. And as such, MBS finds his position to be strong and that the United States is seeking to get Saudi Arabia to increase its oil production and influence OPEC in increasing the oil supply in the market in such a way to bring the oil price below $100, because the inflation rate is running rampant, not only in the United States, but across the world. From MBS point of view, he wants to close the Jamal Khashoggi's file completely. And I do think that the United States, with Biden coming to Saudi Arabia and to Riyadh, I think this will be the last that the United States will have anything to do with the dismemberment and the murder of Jamal Khashoggi as such. So I think what we're seeing is a fundamental shift of the United States to embrace Saudi Arabia, to embrace MBS, even though that when Biden took office, he released the CIA report on the Khashoggi murder and actually called Saudi Arabia a pariah in relations to its position. So we're seeing, again, because Biden is in a weakened economic position, in a weakened political position domestically in the United States, that he is ready to shift gear, embrace Saudi Arabia, and take on MBS in order to improve his standing domestically. So in here, domestic consideration is taking precedent or having a shadow over international diplomacy of the United States.
It's certainly going to be a very interesting visit over the next few days. Hatem Bazian, as always, thanks so much for your analysis.
Thank you for having me.